What's up guys, it's me, Emily G, back at you again with another commentary video. I've got my live studio audience here and my backdrop and everything, and as I always say, just doing some housekeeping. If there's anything you want to see like to improve these videos, let me know, and if you have any topics you want me to cover, let me know. But let's get on into today's video because I've been filming a few now and I'm really sweaty, to be honest, and I'm kind of hungry, so I just want to like go to bed and put my toe up because my toe really hurts. Different topic, different day. Actually, I'm not going to show you my toes. Anyways, Chappell Roan, or as Ross Lynch called her once, Chappell Roan, which I thought was kind of diva. But anyways, Chappell Roan, I have mixed feelings on her. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I like her music. I think she's cool. I think she's diva. I remember something came out like a year or so ago, although I have a warped sense of time. Something about how she said like she couldn't like commit to the bit for politics, and I don't know, there was some sort of incident. I guess I shouldn't even talk about it if I don't know what I'm talking about. You guys are right. But I remember she said something very controversial about not having an opinion on something when it came to politics and affecting a large portion of her audience being the queer community. And so I'm a little iffy on her. Love her music, you know, but I don't know. But today we have a Chappell W, a Chappell Roan dub, if you will. And so I want to talk about it. I want to read her statement that she put on Instagram because I think it's very important that we talk about it. And contrary to probably what I've posted the title as, it's got something to do with the files. Even though, you know, like black line, like, you know what I'm talking about. As soon as I say like black rectangles everywhere, you know what I mean. The files. And so it's interesting. Never thought those two would be related, which they're not. But she put this out on her story on Instagram yesterday, so Tuesday-ish. She says, as of today, I am no longer represented by Wasserman, the talent agency led by Casey Wasserman. I don't know Casey. We get to it. I hold my teams to the highest standards and have a duty to protect them as well. No artist, agent, or employee should ever be expected to defend or overlook actions that conflict so deeply with our own moral values. Now, this is great, and this is a W, and I respect her for this. I wish she had this backbone and had this stance sooner, when she was going through it like a year or so ago with not speaking up for the queer community. But I don't want to rehash things. We're not rehashing things. That's my opinion. She says, I have a deep respect and appreciation for the agents and staff who work tirelessly for their artists, and I refuse to passively stand by. Artists deserve representation that aligns with their values and supports their safety and dignity. The decision reflects my belief that meaningful change in our industry requires accountability and leadership that earns trust. It's a lot of PR, right? It's a lot of PR and fancy words. But just breaking it down, I agree with it. It sounds like she said, like, in layman terms, I guess, she's saying, hey, this guy was in the files. I think it came out he had sent some flirtatious emails to a certain main woman character in these files, whose name I can't say in fears that this video will get taken down, because as silly as it is, certain people's names can even do that. And so there were these emails from Wasserman, who I guess runs the agency or founded the agency, and so she has decided to pull out of that deal that they have going on, and I respect that. And honestly, like I said in this last video I just did, or one of the last videos, like, we are in an era where the internet, I think, is starting to appreciate as a whole when people have a strong opinion about something. We don't want people who are going to be like a little wishy-washy, or, oh, I shouldn't speak on that, like, I don't want to get political, or, oh, like, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to put my toe up because it really hurts. Anyways, I just think it's very important for us to have an opinion, and I'm really glad that she's setting the precedent here. And if there's one thing we need to give Chappell her flowers for, because even though I disagree with her on some stuff, I really like that it seems like she's paving the way for a lot of things here. Take when she was under fire a little bit ago for, I guess she had spoken back loudly to one of the people taking photos of her at like a red carpet event, where they were like, hey, like Chappell, we need, this. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of like harassment with like the press and, what do you call it? Not publicity. It starts with a P, I think. Paparazzi. That Lady Gaga song that I just really didn't sing just then. I love Lady Gaga. Couldn't think of where I was going. I lost my train of thought, sorry. But Chappell had stood up to the paparazzi who were kind of low-key harassing her. And after that, like, a lot of these red carpet events got very tame, and in a good way. Like, people were being very respectful to artists who were getting their picture taken. And she really did a change for the better. And I am very glad that somebody did it. I think it's well overdue. And I'm just happy that she's standing on businesses. It's not clocking to you. And I think someone should have done it sooner. So again, I'm happy to see her leave this label. I don't know who else is signed under this label, but I wonder if more people are going to leave, because again, it's always a woman paving the way. And I would really like to see other artists talk about this, right? Because even though Chappell didn't directly address the files, it's something, right? And more people need to be talking about this, right? I think it was Caroline Levitt who like does a lot of the speaking for press at the White House. And she was like, you know what? We're moving on from the files. Girl, who is we? Like, we are not moving on from this, right? Like, I don't know. They were saying recently that, like, aliens are in the files. I'm like, I don't care. Can we take care of, like, the people who did crimes in the files? Like, then we can worry about aliens. You know what I mean? But, like, there need to be arrests here. If not, I won't say it. Yeah. Anyways, my friend said I should do a whole video talking about the files. I am not doing that. I'm not qualified to do that. But I don't not have an opinion. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difference between a lot of people on the internet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it in depth because, honestly, it really brings me down. And I don't think we should talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But I think you should do your research and know the topic and know what's going on, at least to some degree. You know what I mean? Anyways, I don't want to get too off topic there. But I really appreciate Chappell leaving the agency and standing up for what's right. And I think we all need to be doing that because there's a lot of people who are involved in all of this going on with the files and the island who have not faced a singular ounce of accountability. And at the very least we can hold them socially accountable by dropping their agencies, not supporting them financially, not supporting them socially and publicly, speaking out against them, talking about the files, things that matter. And so, I don't know. That's about it. There's a lot more people in these files than I think people are aware of. This is hundreds, if not thousands, of clients who were on this island, people who did terrible things. And it seems like everybody online is talking about their own experience with it. In fact, I know a guy, this is going to sound like a joke, but I know a guy, and I won't say who. I have a friend who has a friend who knows a guy who is a contract worker who built like some of the houses on the island that he's mentioned in the files. And it's like crazy. It's like really small world and terrible. And I don't know. I feel like I've just lost hope in the government, but that doesn't mean we should stop talking about stuff. I don't want to be a cereal box ad or like, I need to get off my soapbox, I think is what they call it, right? But not enough people are talking about it. And in fact, while I'm on this little tangent, the only person I've really seen talking about the files in any capacity has been Charlie, Moist Critical, Penguin Z0 of the famous Hunger Games franchise. He's the only one who I've seen do a video and multiple videos. Right? And good for him. More people need to be talking about this. Everyone's, I think, treating it like it's just a joke. I heard my one friend use the term memetic warfare, which sounds very intense. But it comes from the word meme, right? Memetic. People kind of making everything a joke because I get it. Like, it's so atrocious that some of us don't really know what to do with the information. So we just default to memes. but it really erases the importance of what's going on. And so again, to circle back to our topic with Chappell, I am very happy, and it is a W from Chappell to be talking about this and standing up for what's right and disassociating from anyone involved in this, because that's what we should be doing. And no, it's not a witch hunt. There's evidence. You know what I mean? So I want to see more people do that. I want to see more celebrities do that. And I want to see more celebrities get political in general. I don't want to support someone when I don't know their stance on something. And I don't think that's wrong. I wouldn't want you to support me and support me financially and viewership wise, and then be like, wow, I actually disagree with like everything she stands for. So I don't know. We can have that discussion. And in fact, in my last video, I had that discussion. So go check that out. But yeah, stop supporting people financially and socially that you don't agree with their basic, fundamental beliefs. That's it. That's the video. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Let's try to keep it civil. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.